Expansion.
I think we're live.
Are we live?
Paulie, are we live? He likes playing these games on us. Are we live, Paulie?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, we're on, my man.
All right, let's do
Max
this.
Luciano. Welcome to Expansion, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you, man.
Absolute
Great to have
pleasure.
you. I've been looking forward to this. I remember when I was setting up this idea in my mind, when I started manifesting and when I started, going there and dreaming and allowing myself to take it beyond the what table are we going to use and what microphone are going to use and all this. But I started thinking about the guests and that long list that I have. But right at the top, in the very first few, the very first 10, as a matter of fact, I thought I've got to get my man Max, because not only do I have huge respect for you, I really appreciate your friendship. We've always clicked on the personal side as well, but I know that you got a very cool, very important story to tell, because I think it's inspiring. I think it's important for people to have role models and mentors and people that they can look up to, and not necessarily on the other side of the world, but right here in our own city of Sydney. For those of you that don't know, Max owns The Spot, which is a very reputable, very famous, very well-known business in Liverpool, in the southwest of Sydney. A really cool place to have some food, to have cocktail, and there's music involved, and the shisha, and the place looks amazing. But that's also come off the back of many, many years of The Spot chocolate bar, which was, the beginnings of what later became, and a few other businesses along the way. And that's why I have you here today, my brother, because I want to talk about all of that and everything that is life for Max. So again, my brother, welcome. Congratulations, because you've been kicking ass for a long time.
Thank you, Rafa, and it's an absolute pleasure to actually be here.
Thank you, my man.
When you messaged me a couple of weeks ago and you
My man.
mentioned
Yeah,
Max,
man.
we want to meet up
Thank you,
and
my
have
brother.
a podcast. So
Yeah, man.
I straight away jumped on there, and I'm very glad, and I'll have to actually congratulate you as well.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Because when we met, we
Yeah.
pretty much started off the exact same way.
Yes, that's right, my brother.
So
Yeah.
I've seen you evolve and,
Thank you,
and all
man.
the amazing things you've done.
Thank you, my brother.
So-
God bless.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, my
and
brother.
thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. Great to have you here again. So look, man, Max Luciano. So Luciano, is that your real surname, or is that like a nickname?
Yeah, it's just something that I changed my name
Yeah.
when I was 18.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
So that's the first thing that I did at the moment that I turned 18.
Okay, interesting. We Latinos and particularly like Brazilian people, but Latinos in general, we work a lot with nicknames and
Yeah.
stage names and things. So I like that, man.
Well, Max was a stage name,
Yep.
and I think that was from my first boss that I
Okay.
ever had.
Okay,
We'll
cool.
talking about it a bit later on.
Sure.
And he mentioned that I need a nice, quick, catchy name.
Sure.
And it was the decision was between Max and Tommy. So
I'm glad you went with Max, brother.
that's right. Me
Even
too.
though if you would have called yourself Tommy, we'd all be used to Tommy. So Tommy would have been cool too. But
Yeah.
between Max and Tommy, you look more like a Max.
Thank God for that.
Would you have him
What do you
on the
reckon,
show
Paulie?
if he was Tommy, Paulie?
Probably not. No.
Harsh, man. All right, cool. So Max Luciano, you're obviously been in Australia for a very long time, but you're born where, brother?
I was born in Iran.
In Iran.
Yeah.
Okay, but Kurdish blood, yeah, Kurdish
Yeah.
culture.
So my background is Kurdish.
Okay, sure.
We migrated between the war. My family migrated around 86.
Sure.
From
When you
Iraq.
say the war, that's the Iraq-Iran war,
Yeah, the Iraq and Iran war.
which was horrible. Lots of deaths and suffering, and yeah,
So I don't remember any of it. I
course.
wasn't there for that war, but
thankfully.
yeah, we migrated from Iraq to Iran.
Yeah.
And I was born in 88 afterwards,
Okay, sure.
soon after the end of it.
Okay, but actually born in Iran, but of Kurdish,
That's correct, yeah.
Kurdish
That's
descent.
correct, yes.
And tell me something, because the world doesn't know much about Kurdish people in general. I mean, we hear them. The only time, unfortunately, we hear about them is because of this,
Yeah.
everlasting conflict between, bloody all the different powers in the region, and the Kurds are almost like doing their best, taking this side and that side, and pushed out of Turkey, and sort of in Iraq trying to get a foothold. And so Kurdish people, you've got a Kurdish language.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and very old, I'm sure, ancestral people as well.
Yeah, so we're Indo-European, so we come through the Iran
Okay, sure.
as route
Sure.
into the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
And not many people did know the Kurds up until maybe the last 5-10 years
Yeah, yeah.
due to the media awareness.
That's right. Yeah.
But the Kurds have always been very similar throughout maybe the last 100 years.
Sure.
Prior to that, they were the forefront fighters of the for the Ottoman Empire.
Uh-huh.
And they're pretty much doing the same thing now.
Yeah.
At the front.
Yes,
for
indeed.
fighting.
Yep.
So
yep.
it's almost like a repeat in history for the last century.
Mm.
But Kurds have always been known as gypsies prior to the
Sure.
Ottoman.
Yep.
So the Kurdish language, and there's about 27 dialects to the Kurdish
Wow.
language. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
And then there's two major dialects, which is Kermanji and Sorani, but that's a very detailed.
So would the peoples be described as more Arabic or more Persian or more European? How would what would be
we're Middle Easterns, so we're not Arabs.
yeah
So we're part of the Middle East.
yeah
Our language is very similar to Persian language.
yeah I thought so because of what I've heard the bits and pieces. Yeah.
So we're very similar to them.
Yeah.
And we're more related to the Iranians
Okay, cool.
because of the
Zoroastrian religion. Yeah.
That's
Okay, cool.
correct. So Kurds
Okay.
originally are Zoroastrian.
Sure. And speaking of religion, the Kurdish people, generally speaking, now are Christian or
Muslims.
Muslim. Okay, sure. And obviously the Kurdish people are sandwiched between Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey.
That's correct. Yeah.
And until this day, stateless as far as
Yeah.
not having its own country and its own. Yeah.
Bit of trivia: we're the largest population in the world without a nation.
Wow. Okay.
So there's about 50 million of us worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I wasn't aware that there was that many Kurds.
Yeah.
Hence why I had to ask.
There you go.
Yeah. So I really appreciate knowing these things. We're blessed to live in a country like Australia. We cross paths with all these amazing cultures and people from all over the world, and I think it would be silly not to want to know more about them.
Absolutely, knowledge is power. So it's
indeed. Yeah. And tell me something, brother. Whilst we're on the topic of Kurds, not that this show is going to be about Kurds, but Kurdish food. How would you describe it?
Kurdish food is amazing.
Sure.
It's very oily.
Yeah, sure. As most Middle Eastern foods are.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
A lot of cholesterol in there, but the flavors are the wonderful. The way my mum makes it, and a lot of the older generation, they spend hours and hours preparing each dish.
What would you? I mean, obviously it has a lot of similarities with the region, yeah. Ingredients and so on.
Kurdish food is very similar to like Iraqi food.
Sure.
The way we do the barbecues.
Sure. Lamb. Yep.
The most common dish that the Kurds have would be the fasulya, which is the beans with the lamb, or the dolma.
Yum.
But we don't cook like the Lebanese do. So we don't do taboulis, we don't do the garlic sauces. It's very Iran style.
Yeah.
Fasulya was the one I was talking to you about, Rafa, the one that I hated growing up.
Which one?
Fasulya and rice.
There you go. Yeah, fasulya and rice. There you go. Yeah.
He was forced to eat that when he was a kid.
Oh, I hated it.
Really?
Oh,
another one.
Yeah. But growing up now,
yeah,
that'd be one of the most
isn't that funny?
Warming, dishes you could have.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, that's all we had. So
and whilst we're on that, so are there any quality Kurdish restaurants in Sydney that we should know about?
There actually isn't. There is no Kurdish restaurant in Sydney.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the Kurdish people, Kurds aren't really in hospitality per se.
Yep.
They're more in the fast food chain,
Sure.
so the kebab shops.
Sure. Yeah.
The more your traditional Middle Eastern style cooking.
Yep.
Kurds are good at baking. So my dad was a baker.
Uh-huh.
He made the best Iraqi bread ever. So
completely unbiased opinion.
No,
from a proud son.
Exactly right. I look back and he's an amazing baker. So he did the traditional tandoori style Iraqi breads.
Oh wow, okay.
So and he worked at a Fairfield Iraqi restaurant for about 25 years. So and he's been practically doing that his whole life.
Yeah. we can probably see where some of this entrepreneurial, bloodline comes from.
I suppose you're right.
Bit of influence.
There is an influence in taking pride in what you do.
Definitely.
With my background, my sister got me into hospitality when I was very young.
Sure.
I always worked hard. I always worked with my hands, but so my first few jobs anyway were Macca's, and first job was Macca's and then KFC.
Sure. Well, many kids, many people, not only kids, can relate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
So
started from the bottom.
Literally started.
Don't get much worse. Shout out to all the McDonald's and KFC employees tuning in. All right, Max. So all right, cool. So you've come to Australia at quite a young age. How old were you then?
I was 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah, we moved in. So we came in 95.
Sure.
March 29, 95. Still remember the day.
There you go.
Fell down the escalators. I've never seen staring moves in my life, and broke my head. So
wow. Big shock.
Yeah, it was good. I remember a glimpse of coming here. It was an amazing change. But moved into Liverpool. First place.
Straight into Liverpool.
Yeah, we got
cool.
So the Kurdish, where we come from, I'm sure you would understand as well.
Yeah.
Wherever your community is overseas,
of course,
you will come to the same community.
No doubt. Same as the Latinos. Yep.
Yeah.
So and we're all out that way. Most of us as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
In the heartland.
And so we moved in to Liverpool. That's where the major Kurdish community is.
Sure.
And I did schooling there.
So 6 years old, you've basically started your education here because you would have done very little overseas.
We did zero. I did zero education overseas.
Sure.
Yeah, so first day of school was the first day of my life.
Primary school was?
So the primary school, we moved around a fair bit.
Yep.
I think we're trying to settle in.
Yeah.
So we moved I went to Liverpool Public was the first primary school. I was there for about a year, then spent all of primary in Miller. We moved out to Miller. Do you know where that is, don't you?
Yes, my brother.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I know a little bit about the area.
That's the Bronx.
El barrio. Yeah, and then high school?
High school, I didn't do much of high school.
Sure. Ashcroft.
I went to Ashcroft. Then I went to...
Speaking of the ghetto.
Yeah, that's the ghetto.
Yes, my brother.
It gets worse. So then went to James Busby. Then Liverpool Boys. So I spent a few years in... I was a bit of a... I was a very active kid.
Yeah.
I think I was a naughty kid as well. So I found myself to get in trouble a lot.
Yeah.
So I didn't get too far into high school.
Yeah.
I finished...
Year 10 or?
No, I finished year 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, year 9, I was 15 when I stopped going to school.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's one would expect, obviously, when you meet successful people, you'd expect them to be overachievers at every level, at every stage, and gone through all the way.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
But so Ashcroft, I actually, when I landed back in Australia, 1991, I went to Ashcroft High.
Oh, okay.
ESL. So my English was very bad at the time.
I still can't read or write. Don't worry, so I know you feel.
And they really wanted me to go to Westfield Sports High, but my English was just shocking. My football playing and everything was really good, but yeah, my English was shocking. So then they put me on the bus from Fairfield West to Ashcroft, and I remember, what the fuck have I got myself into in this place? Because Ashcroft, at that time, there was literally an ambulance parked out the front of the high school every day, because people were getting shanked left, right, and center. There was always, bashings and stuff, and it was like a crazy time.
It was a jungle.
It was a jungle, man, indeed.
Yeah.
And I even recall on the bus, because I had a long ass bus ride, and there was kids from Busby, from Miller, from all that kind of corridor,
Yeah.
And I remember shit popping off on the bus, and the bus drivers having to stop the bus, and yeah, it was crazy times, and I think a bit of a very hot area in general, as far as
it's a crazy area to live. you don't realize what you're in until you get out of it.
Sure.
So, you know,
Sure.
growing up, it was always survival there.
Yeah.
You know, one advice I got from my brother was just, it's a jungle.
Yeah.
If you're not a lion,
Yeah.
you're gonna get eaten up. So
Yeah, straight out.
So just look after yourself, because
Yeah.
this isn't school.
Yeah. I get you.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think now things have changed.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Sydney as a whole, Australia, or maybe even the world, but definitely those were the crazy days. I mean, those were like the 5T days with the heroin explosion and lots of blades and lots of weapons, and gang culture was rife, and things have changed a lot, thankfully, and I think we've all come down a little bit, which is really good to see. Still has the problems that it has and the socioeconomic problems that it has, but thankfully it's calmed down a lot.
It's not as bad as before. There's still other challenges that the schools face, but
no doubt.
I don't think it's just merely as close to what it used to be back then.
Thankfully, yes.
Yeah.
So, brothers and sisters.
I got 3 brothers.
Sure.
And 2 sisters.
Okay, I know Khalil.
Khalid. So Khalid's the oldest. Then you got Walid, which is after him. Then you got Barry, Parry, and then Harry.
Yep.
And then me.
Sorry,
Harry's younger than me, so I'm
Sure.
I'm second youngest in the family.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And your sister is the oldest, or?
Carl is the oldest.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that order that I gave you is
Yep.
the order they're in.
Shout out to my man Khalid, man. Always looking good, looking after himself, you know.
Yeah, it's getting a bit fatter now, but.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's got a
Yeah,
tendency
yeah.
to thicken up a little bit, man. Yeah, I know. But well, summer's coming up. I'm sure he's gonna
Yeah, he'll get there.
lean up again. But
He diet tablets still.
really good energy, your brother, man. I've always appreciated him, man.
No, he's the
And
best. He's the best.
all right, cool. So you finished high school quite early, and then what happens then? You got a couple of jobs in Macca's and stuff, and then so I guess what I'm saying is how does a high school dropout essentially become a successful entrepreneur such as yourself? Give us an idea of that timeline.
I was working at Macca's prior to leaving school.
Sure.
So I was 14 and I was going to James Busby, and when I left Macca's from there, there was the first time I ever actually made an income. So it wasn't much, but it was probably $80 a week.
Yeah.
Didn't understand the value of money then.
Sure.
And then when I lost the job in Macca's, and I had no pocket money left to splurge on stupid things. I understood the value of what money can do and how it can liberate you in certain ways.
Of course.
And my second job was KFC. I was still going to school then, but I wasn't doing too well in school.
Yeah.
So for the reasons we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
So and then my sister was living in Bankstown at the time.
Yeah.
And she was aware of what was going on. So she pulled me out of Liverpool, and then she came and she got me a job at Coffee Emporium. And that's where. So we moved from Liverpool, from the ghetto, into Bankstown. Then I realised, and she opened up a world of hospitality to me. And making coffees compared to working in the back of a KFC.
Of course.
Fried chicken was a world of a difference.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so from $4 an hour to $7. At the time, it was purely just cleanliness.
Yeah.
And it was a very convenient job.
Sure.
And from there, I met my mentor John.
Sure.
My sister Barry, she saved me from the bad world. You know, from the riffraff that I was involved in.
Sure.
And then I just started to love. I enjoyed the passion. John was the owner of Coffee Emporium.
Sure.
So before he became a franchise and everything, he showed me and expressed his passion and why he loves it so much, and just through the time that I had spent with him, it was about 4 years in total. But the time that I'd spent with him, he took me under his wing.
Sure.
He really showed me everything that he loves about the industry, why he loves it. And I fell in love with the craft.
Sure.
coffee making craft.
Yes.
I hadn't really gotten into experience and impact because I just wasn't aware of my surroundings. But I loved the craft, and that's what kept me going.
Yeah.
It was creating that, that beautiful coffee every single time.
Sure.
And and over the years, I just loved everything about it. So, and then I decided, I was 16. I decided that I wanted to.
That was your thing.
That was my thing.
So I think you've touched on two very important things that has been kind of a very common theme with successful people, or with people that achieve certain levels of success. Already on the show, we've seen passion being one of those, so being passionate and having pride in what it is that you do, and because I think that all comes off the back of passion. When you're passionate about something, you achieve success because it's so important to you that you love it, and so on. And the other thing too is the mentor, the importance of the mentor, of having that person, not only to part with wisdom and to teach and all that, but someone that you can look up to and follow. So tell us a little bit more about what that relationship was like. You mentioned John, and funnily enough, John has got Baba Ganoush in Jurul now, which is up the road from here. And I saw some of the photos that we were discussing about sharing on the show, and I said, I know this man. And funnily enough, he owns the restaurant up the road here in Jurul, and I've been going there quite regularly, and the place is amazing. For all those people out there, if you're in Jurul area, Baba Ganoush, round corner shops in Jurul, amazing, good Lebanese food. So I digress, but tell us a little bit about John and how that all came about.
John is an extremely dedicated, smart, passionate man.
Sure.
And he expressed his passion, and he expressed his love from the moment that I'd met him. And he was a lot older than me. He's about 15 or I think 20 years older, but just the fact that he took me in at the age of 15.
Sure.
He saw my potential.
Sure.
And he didn't give up. Right. And the way he took me to places, the way he showed me, introduced me to his colleagues, his networks, his suppliers.
Sure.
And also just the way he showed me the world of how he developed. So he started, John, for those who don't know Coffee Emporium,
sure,
he started off he was a migrant. His first job was, I think it was a bricklayer. And
Lebanese, right?
He's Lebanese, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Bricklayer, and he loved coffee. He would tell me stories how he would. The way he loved it was just different.
Sure.
Which explains why he's where he is today. And he loved the craft. He loved creating it. So he told me to stick away from making coffee sticking away from his job and be at the cafeteria having coffee all day.
I think a lot of people don't realize this, but when the waves of migration came to Australia, particularly post, let's say going back to the 50s and 60s, and then even into the 70s and 80s, Australia was a very different place. The food was very different. What we see today with this incredible coffee culture, which I myself, having traveled around the world, is up there with like the best of the best.
Absolutely. It wasn't always like that.
No, definitely not. And the same goes for food. And other sort of social and cultural things, but definitely coffee and food has come a very long way.
Absolutely.
And that's very much thanks to all these passionate waves of migration that have come in. So I think I can definitely relate and understand why the guy was sneaking out for his coffee, but not only that, but starting his own coffee so he could have it the way he wanted to, right? Yeah,
exactly right. So I looking back and reflecting, I respect him a lot because he started off very, very tiny, and the dedication that he had for his passion, and he never lost sight of what he wanted. So what I'm really getting at is I understood the passion, I understood the dedication, and also the vision that it takes. and it's how you share that with the rest of the world, and that how you communicated the message you sent.
Yep.
So I learned that from him in that sense, and to me he was a bit of a father figure for me.
Sure.
Because I grew up without my dad. So for my adolescence he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
So for him to mentor me and to treat me like a son, so it was very important for me.
Okay.
And I'll never forget that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny again. I mean, I'm only just hearing this now and briefly before we started the program, but what a small world, because I had seen that photo and I'm trying to get Paulie to put it up on the screen. I just got to wake him up. Hold on.
Oh,
Paulie!
is that what you're saying?
My hand gestures, man. They know.
Well. Is he gonna do it? Is he not gonna do it?
Sorry, brother. No, we're doing this show. It's midday in Sydney as we're filming the show, but it might still be too early in the day for Paulie, or maybe he hasn't had his pre-workout or something.
No, Max, I'm thinking you're saying take films of you and photos. I was like, what the?
Yeah, good on
it's
you.
okay. You got to eventually.
Good on you,
Good on you, champ.
Have a mint. Have a mint.
Yeah, have a mint, brother. Have a mint.
You got plenty on the
Alright.
For all of you that don't know, so we've done a couple of shows, and Paulie was very noisy opening up his fucking packets of mints and stuff, and
you can hear it.
Yeah, that I know you guys can hear that, right? So very conveniently, just to show how much of a machine and dedicated man Paulie is, I noticed when we start the shows now, there's a row of mints on his table, like not in the packet, which means yes, he can still have his mints and he doesn't have to make noise.
Have to annoy everyone.
All right,
my man. All right. Anyway, so back to the story. Here we have a very young man with clearly with one of those Adelaide Nike dry fit type hats. Very popular at that time.
It was very popular.
They've come back now, unfortunately. And he's the man. And this is the photo that I said, hey man, I know this gentleman. And I just couldn't work out. He's
up the road.
It's our friend from up the road in the restaurant. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So this is the man. So shout out to John.
Thanks, John.
Do we know his surname or?
Ayub.
John Ayub.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Ayub, man. And again,
I think we
Baba
should go
Ganesh.
visit him after this.
It'll be on the cards for sure. If not today, sometime soon, Max. Because you've eaten at Baba Ganesh?
He's too busy these days, so it's very hard to get hold of him.
Yeah.
But we speak every now and then. I give him a call, check up on him.
Great food, man. Very fresh. And again, the passion. Because when I was talking to him about it, they've got a amazing salad, and that's one of the first things that I brought up. And he went telling me how you have to get the veggies fresh and first thing in the morning, and they come in every day, and whatever we don't use on that day, we throw it away, and So
John will talk all day.
Yes, on the water, as many Lebanese are known for doing. Shout out to all of our Lebanese friends. Sure, Habib. All right, cool. But okay, so my next question is, so you're in the coffee emporium. You're serving coffees. I'm sure you're doing the normal hospitality kind of stuff. But there's a big transition from that to actually launching your own spot, which involves so much more than people have no idea about.
Look.
How does that happen?
The spot that we see today is not how we started 8 years ago.
Of course not. Yeah, of course not.
So I only did what I was capable of doing at certain times.
At the time,
The spot came about when I was... So from the age of 16 up until the age of, I think, 20 or 21, I worked a lot, worked. And one of my other bosses that I worked for, he mentioned, Max, you've got a hot blood.
Yep.
And don't waste your energy on working for other people.
Yeah.
So I took that on board.
Sure.
I sort of diverted a bit. Tried to enter a modelling career. Yeah. So I wanted to be a model.
Why not?
I think we have an actual photo of that too.
Oh, we might have to pull that up, Paulie. Now that you're awake.
You're awake, are you?
We might have to have a quick look. You went past it. Oh, we got that one too.
No, this is a bit later on.
Yeah, this is later. Bali.
That was Bali. That was in Bali.
Yeah, that's Bali. He's doing the
What a shot.
Yeah, that's the so usually it's the Bond girls that come out of the water, but I think you did the Bond man.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this will be the one, right?
That was my first photo I ever did. It was, believe it or not, this was in my room. I got the bed linen, the black bed linen, wrapped it around the room. Had a friend of mine called Daniel.
Yeah.
I think his dad owned the photography company at the time.
Hannes?
I think so. He's a Syrian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Harmus.
I think it's Harms. I'm not sure. He had a Z3 at one stage, 10 years ago.
Oh, well.
So if it's the same one, he can...
typical Western suburbs.
Yeah.
We know people buy the cars.
Yeah, typical. I said, I want to do a video shoot. And then he goes, okay, no worries. So this was the first photo I tried to do when I was a bit younger. And yes, I had long hair.
Yes, all that hair.
That explains the Luciano and that sort of European...
Okay, here we go. Yeah.
Feel. So I diverted a bit because I wanted to, explore a little bit in the world.
Yeah, of course. That's the age for it, man.
Exactly right. I soon realized that I can't really rely on my looks.
Sure.
But most importantly, I actually, every time I went away from hospitality, something was pulling me back in. Something was just pulling me back in, and I would go do something else, and then I would see coffee machine, for example, or a cafe, and would be like,
that's me.
I gotta go make coffee. Or not only that, I think what I saw in a cafe or in a restaurant or in that environment, I didn't just see a plate or a waiter.
Yeah.
I would see beyond that. I would see the impact that I could have on it.
Sure.
All right, how could I make this place better?
I get you.
So those thoughts that used to constantly run through my head was my driving force.
Yeah.
Because I'm a creator, right, by nature.
Yeah.
I realized this through my patterns.
Sure.
But also I used to read a little bit when I was younger as well. So I think it was 21. I was 21, right? I almost stopped working for people for two reasons. One, I was ready to start to open up my own place, and I think secondly, I was an arrogant prick. Yeah. Right. I thought I was too good for my shoes, and so it was very hard to start working for people because I started to question authority a lot. Sure. I felt there was if I could do it better.
Yeah, in your way, I'm guessing too.
Yeah. So I would watch how my employers would do their, would operate their business, and I would question them. I was like, they can do it better. Why aren't they doing it better? Yeah. So I said, well, if I had the opportunity, what's stopping me? And at that time, it was just money, so I didn't have the funds for it. Sure. So I invested, saved for a few years, and then the moment that I had the opportunity to, I went all guns blazing. Yep. Put everything on the line. Sure. I found the spot. It was a hole in the outskirts of the CBD. Sure. It was an alleyway. Yep. A dark alleyway. Yep. Macquarie Street. Macquarie Street. Yeah. Sure. It was a small shop, tiny little thing, and I liked that spot, that area, because, as we were saying before, I visualized. Sure. So this place works so well. All right, and what can I know what I envisioned and creating. Sure. So I worked in restaurants and shisha bars, so I moved around a lot when I was younger. I moved in many different places. I worked for a lot of different people. And one of my good friends that I worked for was the Bearded Bakers. Okay. So Amir, AJ, we worked together for a little while. Sure. And that comes to the next mentors of my life. Yeah. More influence. Influence. Yeah. So we're launching now the Spot Chocolate Bar in Liverpool. Yeah. And that is 2010 or 11? 2012. 2012. Okay, cool. Because this is where I kind of joined the story, let's say, because I had the nightclub happening next door at Knox Nightclub Tequila, which ran quite successfully for a good 3-year period. And I recall one day someone saying, "Oh yeah, there's a spot down the road," because I used to buy coffees for the guys and whatever. And they said, "No, there's a coffee joint that opened up down the road." So, all right, cool, let's go have a look. And I remember walking in and seeing
a whole bunch of young people, cool people, yourself included, and I could see that definitely there was something good about the place, because it's more than just the decor and the food being served and the way that you're treated. It's all of that combined. Plus, there's something that you can't sort of put your finger on, which is just the vibe, and you can kind of tell when people give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I felt. Now, the place didn't blow me away, because obviously you can go from, you can compare it to, the absolute cream of the crop, which I don't know if that place even exists, but I remember thinking, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. The food was cool. You had the chocolate and the crepes and all these things.
For what it was, it worked well.
Definitely.
It was humble. It wasn't over the top.
No. And we are also working in an area which is not the most affluent. So, I think it was a good fit. But more importantly, the vibe and the relationship that was building. And me, a nightclub and an event targeting local people, obviously it was a good fit for us to be kind of working together. And then I remember straight away the willingness to kind of help each other without any sort of money involved or any bullshit. It was like, you give me your flyers, I'll give you my flyers, you give me your posters, I'll give you my posters. And it was cool. And it was just a testament, I guess, to your willingness to work with others, to work with the area, to be open-minded, and no bullshit. And unfortunately, we live in a city where there's a bit of bullshit and jealousy and whatever, but there was none of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where I come into the picture. But tell us about that process, because obviously the spot, you've continued to reinvent yourself and evolve over the years. Absolutely. To where you are today. But the beginning is 2012 with the spot, with a menu which was sort of chocolatey, dessert heavy.
Exactly. Well, I was always scared to enter the food aspect.
Full-blown food, yeah.
It's because I always try to do something that. So how can I put it in an easier way? I never did what I could not be capable of doing at the time.
Sure.
So the spot that you had seen was everything that I could do myself.
That's right, within your powers.
Exactly.
Sure.
So if something went wrong, I can troubleshoot it myself without relying on other people.
I get you.
And the desserts were my recipes. So those waffles that we still have to today was actually
awesome.
Still made the exact same way.
Yeah.
The drinks. So it was a very, very easy, very simple operation that we created.
Sure.
And as I started to develop and to understand the community a bit better, and also as I started to grow older as well, my interests started to change. So the spot that was the Spot Chocolate Bar 2012 was based on a issue or something that was lacking in the area.
Definitely.
So I had noticed that there was no shisha bars, there was no chocolate bars.
Correct.
There was no social aspect.
Yep. A cool hangout. Yep.
And it worked perfect because it offered exactly that solution.
Yep.
As we started to develop, my interest started to change.
Sure.
So I started to enter different aspects of the industry, see what else I can create, get into the food. It wasn't easy. It still isn't easy now.
Of course not.
The food industry is the hardest industry to get right.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that a little later as well, because I've heard a lot of horror stories over the years about food and beverage. Yeah,
it's hard.
Very demanding.
It's very, very demanding.
Yeah.
But as we started to develop, I experimented, opened up other restaurants.
Sure.
Didn't do too well, so I failed a lot, by the way.
Sure.
Just so we can let all the viewers know.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Again, something that's been mentioned a couple of times, because failing is part of the success. Let's say the greatest success, because failing is where you learned.
Well, you need to do it. So
that's right.
When you're young, you find that you're more impulsive.
Yes.
You take greater risks.
Indeed.
And the risks that we take when we're younger, they're not merely as big as we would now, because
correct.
Back then we have a lot of energy.
Yes.
We can pick ourselves right back up very quickly.
Yep.
And to scale, it's not a huge risk. So when you're experimenting, trying different things, putting yourself out there, they're all training for the big picture.
Indeed.
So I failed a fair bit. We opened up an Italian restaurant, didn't work out too well.
Sure.
And then I learned from that.
Mm.
And then we did more shisha bars.
Yep.
And then I think I got into a club as well when I had Odyssey.
Yep. Correct.
That was a couple of years ago. That was more my interest started to change, and I wanted to see if I can handle a more night scene.
Nightlife. Yep.
Nightlife scene, and it's
its own thing again.
Yeah, that's right. That thing there is a crazy business to run too.
Well, I mean, I think as well, brother, is I've been around long enough to know that sometimes great ideas or even the best ideas don't necessarily work because you're working within a framework or within an area or within a society or within a culture. And, you know, your Italian restaurant that I never got to try, by the way, might have had amazing food, but maybe there just wasn't enough room to have enough bums on seats in the area to turn a profit.
I think it was also me. I didn't actually, my heart wasn't all the way in. And I know that because I never committed to the plan.
Sure.
Right.
It was half-assed.
It was always, it was an amazing venue, venue. I decked it out.
Sure.
I spent a lot of money on it. So in terms of the actual building aspect of it, that wasn't compromised. It was more so the operational, what I wanted at the time. The community wasn't ready for it.
Sure.
My community wasn't ready for it.
Sure.
So I wanted to do liquor there, and it just didn't work. I couldn't do liquor, so I had to alternate. You know, it's like saying, you know, you have an amazing looking product.
Sure.
But it's not the real deal. It's a generic version of everything.
Yeah, I get you. So, and the name of the restaurant was?
It was called Woodfire & Co.
Woodfire & Co.
Yeah, okay, so it was an Italian pizzeria, wood-fired.
And that was right on the corner, no? On the other, okay.
Where SS is now.
Okay.
Which I don't own anymore anyway.
Okay.
That was the place there, but it was a great learning experience. So I learned a lot about myself.
Of course.
I learned a lot about committing. I learned a lot about if I decide to do something, think of think of everything that could possibly what the hurdles could be faced and how I could face them prior to them happening. So from there, learned a lot about food, experimented, went down, went up, went down, went up. And I think I was about 30 years old, 29. The spot that we were at, we kept on beyond capacity. So it was it was bigger than what it was.
Yeah. So I remember you taking over the back.
Yeah, it was just
decorating it like crazy. Yeah. and you know and just that expansion, you know, kind of taking over.
Kept on expanding, but what it was lacking was we just kept on chopping and changing, and it was just too hard to sustain the way it was.
Sure.
We're trying to buy the properties there, but owners wouldn't let us.
Sure.
But, and then there was a shop across the road.
Yeah.
And I loved that venue there, and I had always said, this would be great.
Yeah.
For someone that can do a huge operation.
Sure.
And when I was looking at it, it was beyond my time.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that sort of capacity. And thankfully enough, there was an opportunity to actually move in.
Yeah.
To there.
Sure.
Because the spot had reached its 5 years.
Yeah.
6 years of operation. And it needed a boost. It needed a change.
Yeah.
So rather than operating and renovating that venue there.
Yeah.
So we said, we'll just move across the road.
Sure.
Do a bigger venue.
The time was right.
Yeah, the time was perfectly right because we had a lot of venues open up around us.
Sure.
So we became the oldest venue in Liverpool. And then we, through all the experience that I had, through my personal interest as well.
Sure. There's a lot of that in there as well, I noticed.
A lot of personal interest. So I believe a venue, anything you do, especially when it comes to hospitality, I think IT and other services, they're more solutions to people.
Of course.
But with us, it's become more of a lifestyle thing.
Experience.
Yeah, so we're no longer a product that we sell. It's a lifestyle that we provide.
Exactly.
You know, we don't have the best dishes in Sydney.
Yep.
So I want everyone to know that we don't claim to be the best, you know, dishes in Sydney.
Yeah.
We do offer you a great lifestyle.
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
That's why I said experience. It's a feeling that you're generating. It's a feel good thing.
Yeah.
It's a combination of, you know, the food and the drinks and the setting, which I think you've done a great job with.
Yeah.
And the service, which is amazing. Now, it might be timely to show this little video, because another thing you guys are really good at, and congrats for what you've put together, is the social media content, and the content is such a huge part of it, which, as it should for most businesses, as it is for most businesses nowadays. But we'll have a quick look at this one. We did have to...
Another relocation?
Yeah, that's the first one when you've come over. We did have to mute the music though, because otherwise we'll get pulled up by the big tech gods.
Over the last 7 years, the Spot Chocolate Bar has had such a great impact on our community. And now it's time to take you through the new chapter of our journey.
So that's the old one.
Welcome to the Spot.
It's supposed to be music.
It's bigger, it's better, and as always, it's a destination to be here in the heart of Liverpool. Just like the relationships we have developed and how this beautiful city has grown. Now it's time for us to grow with you.
That was a good night, wasn't it?
It was an amazing night, man. Yeah, I was actually there, but I didn't see myself in the video anyway,
Why?
brother.
I think it was... we just
enough roughheads in there. You don't need another roughhead on there.
Right.
You should have said, take it up with my videographer.
You also had a good Halloween one video.
Oh, the Halloween one was awesome.
Yeah.
We got Halloween coming up this year.
Yeah, I mean, I hope something's happening this year, because if you guys aren't doing it, none of us are doing shit. So.
And then you're gonna be a part of it if you want to be.
What do you mean if I want to be, man? You got my number. You know where I'm at.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it after.
Yeah, anytime, my brother. Please, my pleasure. As always, my door's always open. But so, we kind of wanted to show that video, because obviously that's that transition from the older place to the Spot. And I'll tell you how I describe it from an outsider's point of view. It's almost like an adolescent reaching adulthood, because the Spot, again, as cool as it was like a dessert, chocolatey kind of thing, and it almost looked and felt adolescent. It was more, Absolutely. It felt younger, it felt just youthful. And then now you've come to the Spot across the street. It's more purpose built. Let's say you kind of got it from scratch, so now you've fully gone all out with your right. Max Luciano, touch and feel, and everything looks good, feels expensive. There's a real sort of high-endy vibe to it, which is very rare, particularly for the area, I think. And the place just looks and feels amazing in every way. It's open, but still indoors. It's got its outside section and everything. And it doesn't feel like every other sort of business in your typical suburban Sydney. It's almost like an oasis.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that, and how that all unfolded over the months and the years since.
So the Spot that we see now is, I mean, it's more like exactly you mentioned. It was the chocolate bar wasn't adolescence.
Yeah.
The evolution and the transition from that to that was purely made because we needed to. I wanted to express. I love going out to beautiful venues.
Yes.
I love going out to, one of my preferred venues is Marble Bar or
Sure,
Zeta Bar, right?
Of course, yeah.
Or Hemisphere. I enjoy that feel.
Yes.
We couldn't do exactly that,
no.
But and I got an older as well, so
of course
I had to make sure that we measure up to the scale of my age, and all of our clientele that used to be following us
is getting older too.
Is getting older as well. So their interests have changed as well.
Of course.
So we needed to be able to create something for them, but also not limit ourselves anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We want to create. We're visionaries. We want to do events.
Sure. We
want to go beyond what we want it to be, because the original Spot was merely a vehicle.
Sure.
For the actual vision.
I understand.
You know, that impact that we wanted to create in Liverpool was not just for Liverpool itself. So the spot that we see now, we're touching on different things we've never done before.
Sure.
We're getting into a nightlife. We're trying to combine that bar feel, that lounge
cocktail
feel,
lounge.
cocktail lounge.
Yep.
Seeing how the area takes it.
Sure.
So we see that we're obviously seeing that it's an amazing response that we're getting from the community. People love it. Our community loves it. Our customer loves it. So that means that what we're providing to our community, it's something that they've actually been asking for.
Great, man. Good call.
So for us, it's wonderful. Now we can take that that response that we got.
Sure.
To move into more venues.
Sure.
To move into more nightlife venues.
Sure.
More food and beverage.
Sure.
Right? The shisha isn't something that we want to sort of be a part of, in the coming years.
Solely, yeah.
It's it's not the direction we want to take it. We want to move to food and beverage. We want to be able to stay within that that industry and develop and grow. And we found that for me it's satisfying because I'm able to execute my vision.
Yeah.
I'm able to identify the issue that we have or the problems that our community faces.
Sure.
And not only that, if we don't do it for Liverpool, then who is going to do it?
Yeah, and you touch on that, and that's something that I noticed ever since we crossed paths. Is this connection? Is this passion for the business, but also for the community?
Absolutely.
And for Liverpool, which is where you've come out of and where you still are, doing your thing, and you've got these amazing networks. And one story that I like to share is I remember talking about with you, always talking about doing things, and I mentioned about the potential for doing a festival in Liverpool, and you're like, yep, let's do it. And next thing you know, we're sitting down with the mayor of Liverpool. So Max, of course I remember. Unfortunately, that hasn't materialized, but a testament to this young man, because I mean you're still a young man, and back then you were even younger, and here you are with the mayor of Liverpool on speed dial.
If I believe that if we want to do something, if we visualize something we want to achieve, we need to actually do it.
Yep.
All right. It's no point sitting around discussing it.
Sure.
Explore it.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, I get you.
The mayor didn't say yes, he didn't say no, but it was merely the fact that, hey, we're happy to listen to you.
Sure. Yeah.
Putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So I love Liverpool.
Yeah.
The reason why I love it is because it is my hometown.
Of course.
I run away from it. I've moved away from it.
Sure.
But exactly the same as hospitality, I find myself coming back in because it's an area, it's a home, and there is so many beautiful things about Liverpool.
Of course.
It's so amazing potential we have.
Yeah, and I think importantly for business and business owners is the people, and when you know your people, your clientele, you know what they like, you know what they don't like, you know what they react to. So I think it's always important to make sure that you've got your finger on the pulse. So you very much have had your finger on the pulse in that area for a long time. So it makes sense that you would then plow your trade in that
Absolutely.
area, and give back to the area too, which I know you do a lot of as well. That big heart of yours, and there's one thing that I wanted to touch on amongst many other things is I've flirted with the idea of food and beverage for a long time. People have been telling me for a long time, you need to do this, you need to do that, because being an events promoter, it's almost like 1 or 2 degrees away from potentially, because essentially pulling a crowd is a part of these businesses and the experience and those things that we were talking about before. But food and beverage is a beast on its own, and it's daunting for me, and it scares the shit out of me, and it should scare everybody at home, because most people just think, oh yeah, you make coffee, you make food, and you just put it out. there's so much more to it. And as a matter of fact, I've always heard it takes your life from you, because the time and energy that you need to devote to food and beverage, to a venue, to a restaurant, and particularly one that trades well into the night as well, is huge. From the minor detail to the bigger picture things, to making sure that the food's cooked properly, to the cutlery, to the plates, to the staff, to the, watching the money coming in and out, and the right amount of alcohol going in the drinks. And it's a never-ending list of things, and you need to have eyes on the back of your head and on the side of your head as well. How does that work, Max?
It is a very, very challenging thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand how much we go through. So picture, you're in events, so you
Sure.
understand.
Sort of.
We work, we run a 12-hour shift. We spend 4 of those hours preparing, and then we spend another 4 of those hours finishing up, preparing for the next day. We only actually work for 2 hours straight.
Sure.
Right? So that's, if you look at that in hindsight,
Yeah.
there's so much work involved
That's
for
right.
2 hours worth of trade.
Yeah.
Right? And the challenges that we face is a million things, like you've just mentioned
Yes.
earlier. It's getting the food right.
Yeah.
Staff don't show up.
Exactly.
Kitchen
Stocking
is crazy. We have 45 employees that run that shop. That's
Wow.
one. Right? And at any given night, like on a Saturday, we have about roughly, I think, 28 of them working. So we have 28 staff running around like headless chickens to make sure that dish comes out right.
Yeah.
And it is a scary thing.
Yes.
I shit my pants all the time.
I can imagine, brother.
When you get a bad review, it's very heartbreaking.
Sure.
And when someone's not happy with something, it's like we're trying so hard to make sure that your half an hour experience is worthwhile. Where we've spent 400 hours this week trying to make sure that it's right, and you can't get it right.
No.
Especially when
Not every time.
you just can't look when you're thinking of when you start looking at 2,000 to 3,000 people that walk into your shop, all right, and then you're doing a 300 cover in one seating. Something is going to go wrong.
Of course.
If something doesn't go wrong,
Sure.
something is wrong. So
And the thing is, we're talking food, so this is something very close to all of us. As far as it's not like a dress that you're gonna wear. It might be a little bit this, or a little bit that, but food is food, and it's
especially with that clientele.
Yeah, sure.
The Middle Easterns are very fussy.
Very fussy,
Right, because they love the flavors in their food. They love it salty. They love
course.
it,
Just
charred.
right, yeah.
They like it just right.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it the way they want it, they're not going to be happy. And that's something we need to accept as well.
Yeah.
So the way I see branding and the way I see customer satisfaction is when our guests walk in, or anyone that walks into a particular venue, they've already visualized what they're doing for the night.
Yeah.
Prior to walking in, they know what drink they're having.
Yeah.
They know how they're going to enjoy their entrees, especially regulars, and they're going to plan out their night.
Sure.
And if they don't get what they've visualized,
Sure.
they're going to be unsatisfied.
Yeah.
And
that's the failure.
It's a natural thing, right? But we try as hard as we can to be the best.
Sure.
I have several managers, team leaders. We meet up every single week.
Sure.
We spend hours in that office every single week to make sure that we get it right. Because the back end, or the planning phase is the one that's
right.
the most
where you make it
challenging.
or break it. Yeah.
We spend hours making sure that our team is trained up.
Sure.
Our products are correct. We're up to date with events.
Sure.
So the thing about smaller restaurants, and I think anyone in a CEO team or a big corp would say the same thing. To run a restaurant, you are the CEO, secretary, accountant, bookkeeper.
You gotta wear all the hats.
You're the manager.
Yeah.
You literally do every single thing.
I hear you.
And you make a fraction of what a corporation would make, and the CEO, because you have the resources are less. So we work with what we got.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
but the team, the team is so important.
Absolutely.
Like you can only go so far on your own. You reach a stage where without delegation, there is nothing, because you need people around you. So the importance of the team now comes in. It's not only your vision, it's not only what you can do and how you like to make the coffee and how you think the food. Now you've got this team, and you got to share your vision with this team. You got to find the right people. You got to bring the right people in, and then teach them all how to execute your plan and your master vision. That's no fucking joke by any measure. And
half of the times I don't make the decisions anymore anyway.
There you go. So you've got the people in there now.
Yeah, we work together.
Sure.
And without them, you're right. I'm merely just a vision.
Sure.
And just the face of whatever we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I get you.
But they're the ones that are working their ass off. They're the ones that are, going out of their way, committing, trying to learn, trying to execute that, for the company and for me, essentially. And there is no I in team.
Yeah.
There's only I in win.
That's right.
And we work together to make sure that we are the best.
Yeah.
And to be the best that we can do as well. And it is a very, very, very challenging thing to do.
Yeah.
It's very challenging. But the thing about hospitality is, if you don't love it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
won't last.
I think the sacrifices that you need to go through to get to where you need to be or where you want to be, I think the pre-requirement is passion.
You have to love hospitality.
Yeah, much more so than other than other industries. But and I think it also takes a special kind of person, because you also need personality. You need a certain flamboyance about you, to be more on the front. You need to have But then, so at 19 we opened the new spot. No,
I was 23.
Yeah. 2019.
2019. Yes.
May 2000.
It would have been March 16, 2019.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. March. Yeah. All right. So and things are coming along, and I'm sure it's been a ride. You worked out what works and what doesn't, and a year later, COVID comes in. The wrecking ball.
It was actually, deep down, I was very, very tired. So for us, it was.
You took advantage of it.
I took advantage of it.
Sure.
Okay. For the first 3 days, I took advantage of it.
Oh man.
Then I started to pound my head into the wall and think, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It was an extremely challenging situation.
Sure. Still is, I'm sure.
Look, of course we are, but we've just learned to deal with it. We've learned to live with it.
Sure.
So it's, unfortunately, not everyone is going to come out of this, the same way they entered it.
Yeah.
But for us, it was challenging because our team, our staff, they stopped making money.
Of course.
Their jobs just cut out, and a lot of our business relies on it to stay open so they can maintain their living.
Of course.
So the night we heard that we closed down, we shut up shop.
Sure.
And tried to do the takeaways and whatnot, but I've found that it was futile, especially for our type of trade.
Indeed.
So we just went to the drawing board and figured out how can we take this time that we have, take advantage of it, use it, okay, and do the things that I've been meaning to do for so long.
Indeed, yeah.
So I did exactly that.
Sure.
I needed to build a better team, add more resources to our business. So I did exactly that. Do some cosmetic changes that I've wanted to do. We did that as well. Also be able to start to think outside the box. So it was a great opportunity because I was able to do all those things. And then moving back in and opening back up, it just went crazy.
Great.
You know, it was amazing. Business was better because we were able to do better things.
Sure.
We changed our culture of our employment around a little bit.
Great.
So the staff were, they were more willing to learn and develop. So, we did some development there with our staff internally, and as a result, we started to discover aspects of the community we never saw before.
Awesome.
Because there was limitations in the city, we were able to facilitate. Like for example, your crowd in Miami or
sure.
those nights there.
Sure.
A lot of them will start probably coming to us because
sure. Everyone's staying local. Yeah,
everyone's staying local. So we understood that. So we said, okay, we need to facilitate those needs, and it worked out. It worked out well for us. I won't lie to you. It was a very challenging moment.
Sure.
But I think long term, it's been very promising for us.
And that's the importance. The message is adapt. Don't bang your head against the wall. Don't crawl up into a little ball and go hide in the corner.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Definitely, yeah. And but I think also, when you're in hospitality, as we were mentioning before, because your time and your energy is sucked into this vortex of the hours and opening and preparation and then closing and accounting and insurance and all of those things. Yeah. So you don't have that time to, let's say, dream, that time to expand, to work on the vision, because so essentially you're caught up and you're exhausted. So I think that's the importance that we all need to give to that me time, that rest time, that recovery time, and allow yourself that space to create and to work on the visions and all those things that we've got lying on the sides that we never get around to, because we're always and it's good to see that you've done something similar with COVID, because I think now is the time, if there ever was one, to do it.
We won't get this opportunity again.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
We won't. We won't. The reason why I say opportunity is because there's always a positive aspect to what's going on.
No doubt.
We just need to look deep
turn it
enough.
it into a positive.
Turn it into an opportunity.
Sure. Yeah.
And see how that can benefit you, because there are moments where it's going to be frustrating.
Sure.
There's going to be moments where it's going to be very challenging.
100%, yes.
But if we don't, and
you got to flow with it. You got to flow with it.
And it shows your true character as well. So if someone was a go-getter, regardless of what's going on in their life,
indeed,
it will show the character of you as an individual.
Yes.
So and if you're gonna just sit back and say, I'll give up because I have no.
This is fucked. They've stuffed me up. These guys are killing my business. You
already probably weren't doing well from day one.
And me, like I can very much relate with that, because we're the events industry is decimated. Nightclubs are decimated. First ones to close, last ones to open. No one knows what's going on. The way these people are carrying on, it's going to be this way for a while at least. But yeah, we've got to turn it into a positive. But overall, are you in agreement with the way that this whole thing is being handled? How do you see the whole COVID-19 situation worldwide and Australia?
I think I'm not going to get too political or get into a conspiracy.
Yeah. But there is a conspiracy. I'm not going to get too political or in a conspiracy, but there is politics and a conspiracy involved.
We all know, Max. We're just saying what everyone's thinking. It's I think it's very sad what's happened.
Yeah.
I've been watching and following all of the posts and things you've been putting up.
Information, yeah.
And it's the sad truth, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but
here we are.
Here we are. We got to work the system.
Yeah. So I guess my question was more about how it's been handled. So
the handling aspect. It's not handled very well.
Yeah.
Some parts, like the government just open and close as they please, make the decisions as they please.
Masks, no masks. Yeah.
You know, the ATO and whatever they're doing, everyone's just doing what they want to do. And we're sitting back, and I felt this when we kept on opening and closing, is that we're struggling,
Sure.
we're getting punished, we're getting hammered.
Yeah.
Right? And if we don't provide them the information that they want, the way they want it,
Sure.
then we don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, I get you.
And the way I see it is, the government the government literally makes us depend on them to the point that if we don't follow their rules,
Yeah.
because they're constantly opening and closing us up,
Sure.
we can't physically be sustainable anymore.
No.
So we have to rely on them,
Yeah.
and it's that independence,
Which is horrible, especially as an entrepreneur, super independent person such as yourself, that's been a go-getter, breadwinner from day one.
and that's what they're doing, and it's very difficult to go through. I mean, what would I do in their position? I wouldn't know.
Sure.
Because I've never been through it. So there's got to be a sense of, you got to be empathetic as well, to a certain degree as well, because it's not easy for anyone.
No. Look, yes. I mean, I do have strong opinions about what's behind all of this and the causes and what's happening. But all those issues aside, if we are truly dealing with a pandemic and the numbers are speaking for themselves, where it's only people in nursing homes and very much older Australians that are, in trouble, so to speak, then they should be the ones that should be absolutely cared for. And instead of spending billions and hundreds of billions of Australian dollars trying to maintain the whole economy, you could spend an absolute fraction of that, maybe 1% or 2%, and dedicate that entirely to really caring for these people, revolutionizing the aged care sector, nurses, staff, help with the whole quarantining and supporting these people like we've never done before, because aged care is horrible in Australia. It's been horrible for a long time, and it's just been passed around.
Do you know why?
Tell me.
Because it's easier not to do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Chucking money and throwing money.
Yeah.
At
the
economy.
Yeah, there's not much work involved. Yeah,
it's a lot easier for them to do it.
Yeah, and ultimately no one gets the blame, because they will always pass on with the excuse that, oh, it's COVID, it's a big virus. I did what I had to do. But I think definitely we've gone down the wrong path. This whole lockdown thing, lockdown to eradicate, is never gonna work. It didn't work in New Zealand with that huge lockdown that they did, horrible, decimated the fucking country. They opened back up,
and no one can open back up.
And they had 5 cases or something. I didn't know cases were so important. I thought it was all about hospital beds and protecting stopping people from dying, not positive cases.
It's propaganda. I don't like the idea. There's a shitload of propaganda.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. It sells. It sells. Few sells. Few sells. Yeah.
It sells. It works. And it works.
Definitely.
And the way I look at it is, we can't, as an individual, we can't do anything about it. There's certain things that we have certain control over.
Indeed.
Right.
Yep.
Rather than complaining.
That's right. No.
We figured out what can we do with ourselves to make ourselves work.
Of course,
we can't rely on them.
No. I hear you on that, and that's where I invite a lot of my friends who are like-minded. Let's not discuss the problem, because the problem.
The solution.
We know what the problem is. Every day there's information coming out about, in this case, but in life in general, I always like to take the same angle. But in this case in particular, we know what the problem is. The information's coming out every day from everywhere, from every angle, from overseas, nationally. But we need to discuss solutions. How do we get ourselves out of this situation? How do we get ourselves... as a humanity, as Australians, as Sydneysiders, as New South Walesmen, and how also do we come out better personally, individually? How our careers are going to come out better out of this? And
I can think of a couple of little great things. Is take this opportunity to simplify your life,
Most
because it's been
definitely.
so tangled prior
Indeed.
to COVID lockdowns. The way we, you know, we go out and put ourselves in all these liabilities.
Sure.
We get things we don't need.
Yeah.
You know, we complicate our life.
Yes.
We complicate with so much different priorities.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right. And when everything was shut, how much of that shit did you actually need?
Yeah, true.
Right.
True.
So,
yeah.
so you know, and
Yeah.
so in that aspect, I think there's a solution already there for yourself. Half of the stuff that was locked down, or the things that you couldn't no longer have, it was a privilege, I guess you could say.
Sure.
You didn't need.
Indeed.
Right. So simplify your life,
Sure.
and the things, all these materialistic things that you so much depend on.
Yeah.
Or
You gave so much importance to.
giving importance. It wasn't necessary. What do you actually need? Just take it. I believe just take it easy.
Yeah, simplify.
Yeah,
Yep.
take it easy. Focus
Sure.
on work and just simplify your life. Declutter your life a bit.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
now
yeah.
you can.
That's a huge thing. It's a huge thing.
Now you can. Social
yeah.
media is ruining a lot of people's lives.
Indeed. Yep. Very much so. I agree. It's a big problem. Yeah, it's a big problem. We're overstimulated.
We did instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
we're lazy people.
Yes.
We don't work hard. Like the new generation doesn't work hard like it used to.
No.
You know,
Strange times, I think, for the youth. Unfortunately, their perception of what the world is all skewed thanks to the huge impact of the digital revolution and social media. And we're probably one of the lucky ones because we got to see life before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we've got that reference point. As much as we're a part of it now, and it's a huge influence and it plays a huge part in our lives, at least we got that reference point. You know, our DNA, our
it doesn't work with us. It just it doesn't click in.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm hardly on the social media.
Sure.
It's because I feel that it's, you know, yesterday I was.
It's a distraction.
Yeah, it's a huge distraction.
Yeah.
I was pulling up petrol and I saw this girl with her boyfriend. He was recording her dancing at a service station, right? We all know what that's for, because
Sure.
while she's taking the video, she probably looks great on TikTok.
Yeah.
But she looks absolutely ridiculous in real life.
and
It's just that confusion between reality and what this social reality is.
Yep. And I think coming back to now reaching success as a business owner and an entrepreneur, focusing and dedicating your time and your energy and your ideas to the end goal instead of being distracted by all of these, a myriad of things that can come from life and in particular from social media. That's a big thing too, right?
Great. One bit of advice that will touch on that, comment is stay focused.
Yes.
Okay, because distractions will seem like opportunities.
Yeah.
Whatever task it is that you want to achieve, visualize the end of it.
Yep.
Focus on that goal. Live it, breathe it.
Yes.
Okay. And every single day you must achieve one step closer to it.
Yes.
But when you get there, you won't realize how quickly you got there, even though it took a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
But you will achieve it at the end, and you can use that as testimony.
Yep.
To the dedication.
Yep. There's your roadmap. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand the importance of the dedication. Like, I see you're sitting here with me today. I met you 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And you ran a small little club, but you did not give up. You maintained.
Of course.
You stayed focused. You didn't move from your industry.
No.
You just kept on evolving in it.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah, there was a couple of times when things weren't really going well that I actually considered giving it up, and I'm very thankful that I didn't. And again, I think that's the importance of sticking with it.
And it takes us. I've read a couple of books, and I'll even reference them now. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
I've heard of that one, yeah.
And Mastery by Robert Greene as well.
Okay.
Amazing books.
Sure.
All right. They're the way they give you the tools to your life, they're the most amazing tools you'll ever have. When I read The Mastery Iron, that's when I understood what my purpose was.
Sure.
And that's why I stuck to hospitality. That's why I grew so much, because of that book. And it was pretty much just one paragraph was, find your purpose, right? And when you find your purpose, whatever you are doing will no longer feel like work anymore.
Yeah.
And as soon as you understand what your purpose is, then you will progress and prevail, and you'll accept your fate, and nothing will hold you back.
Sure.
And my purpose was gathering. That's why I'm in the industry.
Sure.
Because I love to bring people together.
Yeah.
So, and the 48 laws of power, that's, 48 tools you can use in your life. And you will find that there's some great advantages to that as well.
I'm gonna have to look those books up, my brother.
Them.
Yeah, I've read a fair bit in my life. I've been fortunate to not only be interested in books, but to have had the time. But yeah, that's probably another good bit of advice, man, for people that that want to succeed, and not only in business, just in everything in general. I think again, we'll come back to social media, but those distractions. That all those hours and all that time that perhaps in the past was better spent, maybe reading or just letting the imagination run wild. Yeah. Now we have this monolith which has really taken over the world and humanity. So interesting times ahead. And speaking of times ahead, I mean, we've spoken a lot about the past, but I'm sure you've got some plans for the future. Is there anything that you wanted to share with us today that you might be considering opening in the near future or in the future, or what can we expect?
We're working on a big project now.
Sure.
It's in Liverpool. And that's probably about 3 to 4 years away.
Okay.
It's probably one of the biggest projects we'll find in Liverpool.
Wow.
And this is, it's part of the revolution that we're trying to create.
Which you've been at for a while.
Oh, yeah.
The Liverpool Revolution.
Exactly right. I can't really say too much about it,
sure.
But guys, there's going to be some amazing things.
Awesome.
Some very, very, very exciting things happening.
Great, man.
Some short-term things is 31st of October. Is our Halloween party at the spot. So
Okay. Yeah, look out for that.
It's gonna be a big night that night.
Sure.
It's gonna be a big night.
I can imagine, brother.
We got Sydney's best MC is gonna be with us. So.
Yeah. Watch out. Yeah, I know him.
If you're lucky, he might come in costume too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've been known to rock a costume to Halloween or two. Brother, I've never done Dracula, but I'll tell you a funny story. And there's photos of this online. Someone, don't ask me how, but someone convinced me to dress up as a French maid. Right. So
a female one or a male one?
Well, French maid has to be a female, right? Now, I've been known to sort of,
dabble in that?
Yeah, no, thankfully not. I wish. 7 years away, could have used a bit of gayness, believe me. I would have been happy to be gay, but no. So anyway, so I've got this French maid outfit, stockings and everything, fishnet stockings and everything. We're at Tequila.
Oh, Tequila days,
yeah.
huh?
Tequila days, crazy days. And anyway, so everyone's supposed to wear the costume there, but this thing was fucking ridiculous. And I'd already committed because when I tried it on and whatever, they took photos of me and they put it on and everything. So
that's it.
I was committed.
You were knee deep.
But I can't wear this whole fucking night. I can't wear, like, it's a little. The dress thing doesn't even come to, not even to my knees, not even close to my knees, and it's kind of fanned out, like it's very airy, particularly for a man who's never right. Anyways, and I had a wig and everything, so it's like a Playboy bunny thing as well, because I had the bunny ears. So I said, no, I'm not gonna wear it, but I'll just put it on at some time in the night. We'll do the photos, whatever, and I'm the MC, so I'm like the fucking ringleader of the circus, man. So if I'm not doing it, then it's
no, it won't work. You have to do it.
Yeah. So everyone's like, where's your costume? Where's your costume? Where's your costume? All fucking night. Plus everyone knew that I was, right? So anyway, so fuck, all right, cool. I got at the back. So at the height of the night, when we're about to do the whole thing, whatever, I go put it on and I jump out on stage. Massive silence. Plus, we'd stop the music. Right?
So stop the music. Did it die out?
And as I stepped out, that was the whole thing. And as I step out, everyone is fucking staring at me. Now I don't know if you remember, but that Tequila stage,
there was a big stage,
was very high.
I know.
Right. So the problem. High stage, short dress.
Okay, they saw everything.
Yeah, so yeah, but the thing is, right? So I jump up on stage, and look, I can still manage to sort of detach my mouth from my brain. My brain's going, what the fuck? Everyone's staring at me. My mouth's still going, ladies and gentlemen, rah 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 rah. But as I'm speaking, everyone that's directly around me on the stage underneath, they're all going like this. Checking out my package. Very close hand. Anyway, so it was incredibly uncomfortable. I did what I had to do. I made the announcement. I literally paced up and down the stage 2-3 times. Everyone's jumping on stage taking photos with me, and I was out.
Oh, you're funny.
Onto the next thing. I think it lasted about 15 minutes. So that was my 15 minutes as a French maid for Halloween.
Would you ever consider doing it again?
How much money we're talking about? I've had fun with
bullfighters.
I've had fun with mariachis. Yeah,
mariachis. I went as a mariachi once, or Zorro.
El Zorro.
No, I was 21. It was for a work thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, we got a Christmas party. He goes, all the new employees. Yeah. And I was new at the time. He goes, you have to dress up as a costume.
Yeah, Zorro is pretty cool. I've never done El Zorro, but I should. I mean, I'm kind of working my way through the Latin stereotypes. I've done the mariachi, I've done the bullfighter.
They're cool, man. They're cool.
They're cool, man. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with that, man. I channel my inner mariachi, but no, so all right, so we've got some big plans in the background, but as far as the spot and everything, it's business as usual. We're going to keep hammering away, doing the thing. Yeah.
So we're not stopping anything. We're just going to continue just to do what we're doing.
Sure.
Find new ways to add more value to our guests.
Beautiful. And for the spot we can find it on Instagram. We've got a website. What's the socials? Just so we share with everyone out there.
The website is thespotgroup.com.au.
Sure.
And the Instagram is the Spot Bar and Grill is the
Spot Bar and Grill on Instagram. That's sure.
Instagram, yeah.
And we got all that info up there.
I found a photo of you on Halloween, Rafa.
Me?
The maid?
Yeah. No, I couldn't find it. You've got a lot of photos out there. But
I was a Dracula for Halloween.
Yeah, this one is this is the zombie mariachi, one of the many mariachi bits and pieces that I've done. This is makeup by the beautiful Alejandra Suarez, my beautiful Colombian friend. Yeah, she did really good. And actually, on the photos, because of the flash or whatever, it comes up a little bit worse. But in real life, it was pretty crazy, man. Yeah, so that was at Candy. We always do a massive Day of the Dead thing every year. Hopefully, we'll get to do it this year.
We want to do the Day of the Dead at the spot.
Yeah, it's a great theme. It's been growing over the years. A few years back, no one really sort of. I mean, it's just one of those things. I can't claim it because it's been around forever, but we've been doing it, and it's actually the biggest night of the year for us. Both nightclubs. Every year, Halloween just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, who knows what the hell is going to happen this year? But we'll see if by then we're allowed to trade. So we will be listening carefully to Gladys's updates. We're supposed to be
huge, eh?
We're supposed to be on some sort of a roadmap, stage 2, 3, 4. What happened to all of that?
September is supposed to be finished.
But that's what we're. This government's a joke, man. Like they jump from one thing to another then crazy. It's the borders, then it's the mask, then. Yeah, it's embarrassing. And now today, the vaccine trials have come up.
Started already, huh?
No. There was a very bad reaction to the number one contender for the global vaccine. They've had a very bad reaction in trials.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's going to fuck all that up. And good, because that stuff is Frankenstein's. We don't need aborted fetus cells, you know, in our bodies, you know, because that's what it is. And actually the chief medical officer admitted it this past week as well. So crazy times ahead. But also, you've moved out onto the land. You got some acreage as well.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you on as well. So
thank you, my brother. Yeah, we both got similar sized blocks.
We needed. I think it's important to have a nice sanctuary.
Yes.
When you're coming home,
yes,
space, the kids, the family can come over. It's important.
Yes.
And I'm a bit disappointed why I didn't do it earlier.
Yes. Well, it's all timing, isn't it? Yeah. I'm the same, brother. Just to have the space and the you know, working in hospitality like you, surrounded by so many people, it's great, but you want to get away from it as well. You can't be there all the time. Yeah. So alone time.
And it's just nice. You know, we're so compact all the time.
Yes.
And it's just good to be able to explore.
Yeah.
In your own private space.
Definitely.
And it's like a holiday getaway every day.
It is, yes. It's almost like that. Yeah, I've told people similar things where, you know, because a lot of people are like, I can't believe it, you know, you've moved out to Jurul, you know,
It is far though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think as far as Sydney is concerned, this is probably the closest proper rural or semi-rural area to the centre of town. But the importance of having that space, that time to relax, also the space to do. I mean, I wouldn't be able to build this studio and a sound recording studio, which I'll show you when we finish, and to be able to have the space to bring my family over and they can have their bedrooms, and you know what I mean. You can't do that in an apartment or in a house in Sydney, unfortunately. So yeah. So congrats on that, my brother, and I look forward to checking out the place sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have a gift for you, because I noticed that in your studio you've got a papyrus paper there.
Yes, good call, man. I got that from Egypt. Yeah, I've got a couple. I purchased that in Egypt when I was there last year. Absolutely blew me away.
I've got something nice to give you.
Oh man, God bless my brother.
I love ancient Egypt.
Wow. Okay, cool. Now we're talking, baby. The Ankh. There it is. Yeah. Well, no, the piece of art that Max is referring to, you guys can't see it, but it's actually an Ankh that I've got on top of the door on the way out of the podcast studio. I purchased that at the markets in Egypt. It's on real papyrus, which I think is awesome. And then I've got the Eye of Horus on the other side. You'll be able to see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Egypt is another thing altogether. I can dedicate a series of podcasts on Egypt, but I was there last year and it absolutely blew me away. I grew up reading Christian Jacques books, and I've always been fascinated by it, and I was so grateful that I went there, and what an amazing place.
I haven't had the privilege of going just yet.
Sure.
I heard modern Egypt is a little bit different to ancient Egypt.
Yep. You don't go for modern Egypt. Yeah. Modern Egypt is, unfortunately, those people are not living very well. Yeah. Cairo is not a very good place to see. Millions of people. I think it's some ridiculous amount of population in that city. But as far as ancient Egypt is concerned, if you ever want to go, brother, I'll link you up with the ancient commission, ancient school of mysticism. These are the people that guided me through my tour in Egypt. Okay. And it was it's not this traditional sort of colonialist Egyptology where they say, oh, the slaves pulled, at this block and, and somehow it just magically, these guys give you a different
perspective.
Don't automatically think like ancient aliens or some of that crazy shit, but this is really cool. Like, and these guys are pros. They read hieroglyphs off the walls. They show you ancient machine marks and tools and things that no one else on the Egyptology level speaks about. But thankfully, more and more every day, lots more people are coming out and saying history has to be rewritten because these people knew a lot of things that we don't. I'll definitely invite you to go to that, man. That'll be incredible place, my brother. Plus, we're getting closer and closer to your part of the world. Your blood and everything. So I'm sure you can you will feel the frequencies. Paulie, we've got some more pics that
Before we do
wanted
that,
to. Yeah, tell
I'm
me.
Tell me.
Tell me.
I'm gonna say you were right.
Tell me.
I need to go toilet.
Not a problem, my brother. We'll just take a short little break. We'll go to the toilet and we'll come back. No stress.
Thank you.
Man. No wiser saying than in the history of humanity than when you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's right.
It's unstoppable. Did you get that on tape? Oh, well, it's true, bro. Fuck. Everyone can relate to that. So we were just saying before we had a small toilet break that we've got a few more photos that we want to flick through, and we like to get people's responses. Here's Max with the beautiful Sarah.
That's right.
Sure.
That's my beautiful Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say hello to her. Hello. She is very beautiful. What's her background?
She's Greek.
Greek.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Sarah and I met when she's also a performer as well. So she does belly dancing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
She's a great performer, one of the best actually.
Wow. Okay.
I've seen in my life. So
sure.
Biased, maybe not, but I believe so.
Well, the most important opinion is yours, my friend.
Exactly right.
And very, very, very beautiful lady, and you guys make a good combination. I've seen lots of photos and stuff over the past few months and whatever. And congratulations, my brother. It's good to have a good woman by your side.
She is. I'm
awesome.
Very, very lucky.
What else you got there, Paulie? You wanna? Yeah, we've seen his 007 attempt. Did really well.
That was in Bali. Me and Sarah done a shoot together in Bali.
Okay. So this is a proper photographer, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he hasn't finished the lighting yet, so we just used an unedited one.
Okay, very sexy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's me.
That's Rafa.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's at the launch, right?
That was our launch, yeah. That was a fun night that night.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. I really enjoyed it, brother. No, he did really well. You had some high end people there as well. I mean, the mayor there as well and things, and that was cool, man. Really good vibe.
So that was a bloody fun night. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened because I disappeared around 9:30.
Yeah.
Or 10 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm sure you had your reasons, yeah.
Yeah, we had the after party.
Yeah, because you went all the way to Leichhardt, for the after party. Yeah,
we had to go for the after party.
Yeah,
so.
No, that was awesome, man. I had to go as well because I had to go to my own events at the time. No, it was awesome, man.
Thanks for coming that night.
Great to. Oh, no need, man. Please, my absolute pleasure, man. I'm the guy you ring up and I'm there. It's funny, but a lot of people say, "Oh, like, would you really come?" I'm like, "Why wouldn't I come, man?" Like. Just give me a call. Exactly right. So please, man, in the future, whatever you need, man. What's happening here?
So I had a club that I made in my own backyard with my brother. Yeah. Okay. So we had a full bar. It was just for the boys. It was called Tiger Bar.
Tiger Bar? Yeah. Okay, cool.
The name was inspired from my brother when he went to Thailand and came back. And he
goes, the Tiger Bar, yeah. in Phuket, right? Bangla Road.
Wherever he went.
I know where it is.
It was Bangla,
Yeah, Bangla Road, yeah.
We wanted the Tiger Bar. I go, okay. So
that place is insane.
It was a crazy place.
I wonder how it's doing right now.
Not too well, perhaps.
No, for sure. Go back to the photo, brother. What are you doing? Paul, I think Paulie's in a rush.
We haven't even touched base on that one.
So what was it? Yeah, so
that's me being a DJ. So
clearly,
I bought a bar, got a deck, got the lights, and I started to have parties every 2-3 weeks and invite the boys over. And I wanted to be a DJ at one stage. So that's why I got the decks up there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, and I was buffed up that looking as well. I think I was 20.
Looking pretty good.
21, I think.
Yeah, looking. You still training? Yeah.
I'm trying to stay fit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult.
Of course, because of the time constraints.
Yeah, it's just hard. Yeah, but I think when you get older, how old are you now?
41.
You're 41. Ooh, you don't look 41.
Thank you, man. You better say that. You're on my show.
You look a lot younger than me.
I look after myself.
I think I look older than you.
Yeah. Nah, no way, mate. Yeah. Nah, you're looking good, man. You're still looking sharp, my brother. No, that's why I asked. You can tell that you're still holding on to good size and everything. So
it's about juicing.
Yeah, well,
vegetable juices.
Paulie. I got Paulie onto the veggie juices. Yeah, and he's feeling really good.
Good.
I haven't been sick in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah. When you're on serious, when I mean serious, I mean good organic produce. juices, mainly veggies, but also fruit. So all your, your kales, your celeries.
Just juice them up every day, oh?
Yeah, I slow press juice as well, which apparently it's 7 times more nutrients than centripetal.
So you press it down?
Yeah, so the slow press juice machines.
Okay.
Like cold press.
Cold press,
which is slow press. Doesn't have the centripetal thing, they've kept me, thankfully.
Amazing.
I haven't had a flu or anything, nothing. Because but essentially I try to drink every day, at least one good glass, and I, make sure we get all the greens in there, silver beets, again, celeries, kale's another big one, beetroot, make sure put some ginger in there, turmeric.
I think staying healthy is very, very important. It's good for your
with
mental
everything.
state.
100%.
And if you don't feel good on the inside, you're not gonna.
No, health is number one. And I often tell the story. I was full swing, doing clubs, hosting, and everything. And ladies and gentlemen, we've just had a power outage, and the podcast was interrupted. I don't know what kind of energies this man is brought to the house, but it's never happened, but it's happened, Max.
I think it's our combined energy.
Yeah, you're working on some other level, my brother, which is good to see. But look, before we cut off, we were talking about just the juicing, man. So for everyone out there, my own testament now. Fruit and vegetable juices have kept me healthy for a very long time. The nightclub thing, I was getting sick all the time, especially through winter. I start juicing, gone.
All right.
Literally finished. So
I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, man. So even if it means, you're walking past the juice shop, you know what I mean? Bang, you just grab a juice, like greens and a lot of the veggies. But obviously, if you can get organic, it's better for you. It's better for the planet. So
I know we got plenty of space at home now. So
well, there you go. Yeah, there you go, my brother.
Patch.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's one of the main reasons why we moved out here onto the land is to grow our own vegetables. So it's a big project coming at the back. Hopefully, by the next time you're here, you'll be able to see that, brother.
Oh, good.
Because I've got a feeling you might be back to talk to us about this secret project that you can't speak too much about right now, but sounds very exciting. So we're looking at these pictures. Paulie, our man behind the camera, he's prepared. There's the boys. We look like shit. Tequila days.
Is that Tequila days?
Yeah, that is Tequila days, brother.
I think it was because I used to wear vests back then as well.
Yeah, and I remember by that. I used to wear the scarves and stuff, and I had some ladies that used to deck me out in Tarakash.
So you guys actually met because you used to buy coffees for everyone.
Yeah. That's how
like you do now. And I hate it.
Yeah. So the way that happened was I used to send someone to get coffees for everybody.
I think it was the guard, Ned. Ned, the owner, used to come.
That's right. Ned used to go and he used to get for everybody, and then he said to me, "Oh, there's a new place down the road and they're real cool people. You should go and meet them." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Boom. That's the
rest
beginning.
is history.
The rest is history. And that's a long-haired, D'Artagnan-looking Max Luciano there. Huh?
I think I was 25 years old there.
Uh-huh.
We were 25 years old there.
Yeah, still looking sharp, my brother. Next one. Paulie, what you got there? Uh-huh. Here we go.
That's the bar and grill when we launched our bar. I think Daily Telegraph was happy with that.
Yeah, definitely, man. In a league of its own, I think that the article speaks for itself. The name.
We created some riffraff.
Yep.
And some and the community was just happy with the outstanding changes we were making.
Great. And actually, that's something that really blew me away when I've been is the cocktails, man. Quality cocktails, man. Really good.
We're every day we're trying to do better and
better. Yeah, the boys behind the bar are doing their job, man.
They're
I can
doing
tell
great.
you that much. Yeah.
They're doing good, the boys.
Yeah. Definitely. Congrats, man, Manu. I feel like having that one. Maybe not so much the blue one, even though I'm sure the blue one's good, especially after I've had these two. And then I'll have that one. And call me a cab because I'm not driving home.
Next time you come in
Done.
the area.
Halloween, yeah. That's
Look at
when-
him.
No, actually, no. We'll catch up in a
We
few
don't
weeks.
have to wait till Halloween, man.
Yeah, we'll catch up in a few weeks.
Our schedule's kind of clear. Oh, there he is.
17 there. I was 17 years old.
That's the modeling career in the bedroom.
I love that
launch.
top. That was my favorite top.
Really?
I stole it from my brother. And I think
Khaled or?
no, Walid.
Okay.
Khaled was too big for me at the time.
Yeah.
So and he would kill me if I touch his clothes.
Oh, really?
He was Khaled was sensitive back then.
Okay.
He if one person took pride in his belongings,
Yeah.
it's Khaled.
Good man.
Absolutely.
Well,
looked
man,
after his
every
stuff.
time I've seen him, he's got the styles, like he combines the
Schmick.
colours and everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, he's good, man. I can see that now,
Can't
man.
believe it.
Yeah.
Look at these photos.
Yeah, I know. There you go. Doing your best in your bedroom. Didn't we all? Next one, now, in Spanish, when someone does this, we say se comió la cámara, which means he ate the camera.
He ate the camera. Jay Cray. His name is Jay Cray. He done the photography. That was at the Langham.
Yeah.
Me and Sarah done another photo shoot together. Yeah.
So is that what you do in your spare time? Is it you do photo shoots with your missus?
I think it's good to capture good moments. You know.
Of course, no doubt about it. Yeah, of course.
I don't post much up.
Yeah. You don't have to. It's for you.
But it's good to hold on to, you know.
Of course, man.
When we get older, we say,
man. No doubt. It captures a moment.
Like I can see in your.
I've got a few.
You got some cool photos.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah.
Good stories to tell.
Great stories, man. No doubt about it. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, I've got the reception room into the studio is decked out nicely with a few memories and things that I've done. And for me, the cool thing about it is, I think modern society breeds insecurity and breeds anxiety and breeds, all these kind of negative things. And not that I consider myself one of those people that are sort of at the mercy of all those things, but it's just cool to sometimes be somewhere where you can look around and say, oh yeah, that's right, I've done this, I've done that, and I've been there.
You reflect.
And you reflect, and it kind of gives you a little bit of, like strength, almost like a platform to remind.
It's good to remind yourself how far you've gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Definitely.
It's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for you. Yeah. And then obviously with people like yourself coming in and whatever, it's awesome to share those experiences, and that's why I decided on that direction for the thing. Yeah, but next one there, Paulie. My man, Mr. Hospitality.
Enjoying a nice cocktail.
Man. Yeah. Nice watch too, brother.
Thank you.
Very nice, man. Yeah. Goes with your blue crotch that you got going there. I'm a prick sometimes. Who's this little man?
It's my little prince. It's my little. That's my boy. Hammond.
What's his name? Hammond.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's 4. He's gonna be 5 soon.
Sure.
And I love him to death.
I can imagine, brother.
We spend every moment that we can together. So
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Is he close by or?
Yeah, he's close by. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we're always together. Got a room for him.
Beautiful.
At the house.
Yeah.
Taking it out.
Good. Very good. Yeah.
He's a very smart young version of me.
Good, man. Good. Make sure. Yeah.
And
make sure.
He's my everything, you could say.
Great, man. Congratulations,
every
bro.
single thing in the whole world. He's nothing matters but him.
Yeah, he's a part of everything, huh? Yeah. He's one of the reasons for everything, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
my
great,
blood.
man. Family's family, brother, and particularly us that have come from the ethnic backgrounds, even more so. Not that Australians don't have family life, but, totally the opposite. But I think particularly when we're from overseas, family is so much. It's so much of our lives.
I didn't value the importance of a family when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't aware of, when you're growing up and you're trying to seek closure.
Yes.
And you don't understand what closure actually means. You start to look at things that don't bring any value to your life. To find closure, and as I got older, I realized that nothing gives you closure but family.
Sure.
So So cars don't give you closure.
No.
Business, materialistic things.
No,
you know,
no. They're all great. They're good to have, the toys and all these things, but they're not the be all and end all.
they're not.
No,
And
they won't give you happiness.
They won't
Yeah.
give you happiness
Yeah, I
like
hear you,
the way
brother.
family does. So,
Yeah, I hear you. I can relate
so,
my own way.
yeah. So over the years,
Yeah.
I've loved, I've understood the importance, the value
Sure.
of family, and that's something that should never be forgotten.
Yeah, great, man. Yeah, that's a good message. And I think we've got one more, no, Polly, which I'll tell you what I like about this photo. I think it shows the hospitality, entrepreneur, behind the scenes. You know, what's that? Notes, cigarette in his ear.
It's a pen. It's a pen.
Ah, it's a pen. Well, even better then. Even better. This is battle. This looks like battle stations to me. There's a little bit of stress in the face. What did you take this photo, brother? Why did you decide on this one? Because this one was from his Facebook, no? Paul?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that photo, we did a shoot to, you know, show and express that you could, the photo in hospitality, like, you know, you see me with, you know,
Of course.
with the cocktail,
Yeah.
or having a good
It's
time.
like behind the scenes kind of.
But what really happens behind the scene is a lot of hard work
That's right.
that
Yep.
gets missed.
Sure.
There's not enough credit in that.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know, and we can't expect everyone to understand that,
No,
though. You just
no,
can't. But
no.
for those who
Care or want to know.
want to know,
Mm.
and that want to develop,
Mm,
a lot of that happens.
sure.
You know,
Sure.
a lot of that always happens.
Yeah, and that's why when we were looking at the pics with Paulie, I looked at this one and I said, put it in there, because that's what I was seeing, and that's why I thought, okay, cool, let's get it up and let's get your opinion on that, because that's kind of what that's what I imagined it was. And black and white, of course, makes it black and white.
Exactly right.
Yeah, it gives it that thing, man. So, but nah, I can only imagine the countless hours you've spent behind the scenes developing your business and all the different.
We're young. We got so much more to go.
Of
We
course,
got
my brother.
so
Of course,
much
of course.
more to
Yeah,
do.
of course. What is that the last one, Paulie? We got any more there, brother?
That's the last one.
That is the last one. Well, man, look, I think it's awesome to have people like you doing your thing, leading the way, opening up, not only for your area, but for your people, for your staff, for your family, for all those people around, because also coming from areas that are not too socio-economically advantaged as the Southwest is, I think it's even more important to have local heroes, I think is the term they use a lot, but local entrepreneurs leading the way, showing the way, you know, so the other brothers and the sisters and everyone around can sort of be inspired by and hopefully follow in your path and look to you as an example. So that's why it was very important for me to have you on the show, aside from our personal relationship, which is awesome as well. And I'd like to thank you personally for joining us, and also to let you know that the door is open, brother. If there's any way, you know, I can help you out, whether it be through the show or through my work as an MC or events promoter or whatever, you know, I can wear a clown suit if I have to. No, but for real, man, you know, it's all love and all respect. And I look forward to continue seeing you blossom over the years, man, and doing your thing, and just know, you know, you got a brother, and I'm looking out for you, and I'm watching out for you, bro, and I'm wishing you all the best from now on and always. All right, Max.
Thank you, MC.
My man.
Rafa,
Thank you for
I
joining
really
us, man.
appreciate everything as well.
God bless him,
you know, our friendship is not gonna.
No,
It's gonna keep going.
for sure, man. For sure.
And I hope to continue to inspire.
Yes, man. Please do.
You know, have a positive impact.
Sure.
And likewise as well. If there's anything I could do
Sure,
to
man.
help you,
Not a
you
problem,
know, the
bro.
door's always open there.
Thank you, man. Let's
Thank
get it,
you very
Max.
much.
God bless you. Thank you for being
God
on the
bless
show,
as well.
man. Look after yourself, my brother.
Thank you.
And we'll get you back soon so we can talk about these other projects
Oh, yeah.
in the future. Thank
That'd
you,
be
my friend.
exciting.
Big shout out to Crash Claim, my accident management, making friends by accident, one of our foundation sponsors, and our other foundation sponsor also, Q Corp Construction. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Check us out. And if you want to support our content, man, don't forget to check us out on Possible as well. Thank you, Paulie. God bless. We're
Thanks,
out.
Paulie.
Paulie P! Thanks, Max. You're the man.